Howdy folks, I'm Careful Columbine Duskywing, cautiously cutting crunchy celery.
I'm Amber.
And here's more crunchy celery for us to crunch, crunch, crunch. It's going to be annoying because I'm going to sit here and eat for the whole entire time. But let's get started on that. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Child What Procedure Their Dad Got? My husband got a vasectomy yesterday, so I, a 39-year-old female, needed my mom, a 64-year-old female, to watch my child, who we'll call Lisa, an 11-year-old. For the day while I took him over and got him set up at home. When Lisa asked this week why their dad was having a procedure done, I said that it was so that we wouldn't have any more kids. She knows what birth control is and happily is an only child, so I thought nothing of it. Well, when Lisa was with my mom, she mentioned the reason that their dad needed to recuperate. My phone started blowing up with angry text messages accusing me of discussing my sex life with my child, emotionally scarring her and making her visualize Dad graphically. Lisa came home and mentioned that her grandma must be really mad because she saw her texting up a storm. And Lisa found the whole thing funny, if anything, felt bad that I got a barrage of angry texts. Am I the jerk for telling an 11-year-old that their dad had a vasectomy in what I thought was an age-appropriate language? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. I mean, I think it was important for her to know that her dad was having a minor procedure and not something scary. Like if you're just like, oh, dad's going in for surgery and just leave it at that, you know, or say something vague about, oh, it's nothing to worry about, that's going to scare the kid. It sounds like OP handled things in a very age-appropriate way. They didn't go into gory detail, although, you know, at 11, a lot of kids are learning in health class, like, what sexual organs are anyway. But, you know, again, just saying, oh, dad's getting a procedure done so we can't have more kids is a very, like, neutral, age-appropriate way to explain it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just about as age-appropriate as you can possibly get. That's an age-appropriate thing enough that, like, a 6-year-old would be able to understand that. Oh, daddy's having surgery so that you don't have any brothers or sisters. Right? Like, that doesn't reveal any information. It doesn't say what a vasectomy is, really. It doesn't get into the graphic details of it. If OP had sat their child down and went like, well, you see, here's the step-by-step procedure on what your dad is going to go through. Yeah, that would be too far, right? But that's not what happened here. And I think that the mom is really overreacting. I think that she just doesn't want to accept that. Well, I don't know what she wants because, I mean, like I said, this is kind of like an appropriate age-appropriate response for even like a 6-year-old.
Well, that's the thing. It just seems like the mom like thinks that kids should be sheltered from anything that even tangentially has to do with sex. But like, she's 11. You know, she's gonna hit puberty soon. The last thing you want is to completely shelter kids from things.
Well, not to mention, like, it's good for her to see, you know, guys have a vasectomy because it's important for, you know, her to see that that's an option for birth control as well.
It is. You know, I mean, I don't think I'll ever forget, when I was in health class, our health teacher was like, ladies, if your husband ever tries to make you get a tubal ligation, like, just tell him no, have him get a vasectomy. I had one. It's so much easier of a procedure. And I think it's really important for people to understand, like, again, everyone's reproductive choices are going to be their own, but that, like, that is a valid birth control method. And it is a fairly minor procedure compared to, you know, a tubal ligation.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Adventurous Yak 9893 says, did you go into graphic detail, or did you just say a procedure not to have kids? Because it's not that bad at all. Mother-in-law is being super weird. It's funny when you're not the one the barrage is being directed at. Just trust your instincts. And OP replies, I just left it at a procedure so that we won't have more kids. She said okay and went about her day. It's been 2 days of accusations of bad parenting, so I needed Reddit to validate me at this point. And Yun of York says, if an 11-year-old hasn't had sex ed yet, your school system is terrible. If your mother-in-law thinks that it's too young to know how a human body works, then your mother-in-law is terrible. Also, highly suspect that mother-in-law is angry with you for making him get a procedure because she wants more grandchildren. Is she super Christian? And OP replies, she's not religious, but she is pretty puritanical in a lot of ways. I mean, I was honestly wondering about the whole wanting more grandkids thing. Like, she might just be upset in general that there isn't a chance that there's going to be more grandchildren. And, you know, that's understandable for someone to be disappointed. but she can't take that out on other people if that's what the case is.
Well, that's the thing, is that it is up to OP and her husband whether or not they want to have more kids, and it's their business only.
And usually right too says, not the jerk. Not telling her the truth could have left her wondering if something was really wrong. And Intelligent Ask 3264 says, I had a hysterectomy a few years back, and I loved coming home to 3 kids excited for me to be healthy and happy in my body. They were very aware of what I had had for the procedure, and my mother-in-law didn't appreciate my then 4-year-old screaming, happy uterus, but I did. Not her kid, not her business. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Refusing to Help Pay for the Damages My Son Caused at a Party? I'm a 47-year-old male, and I've been married to my wife, Marie, a 46-year-old female, for over 20 years. We have 2 children, Alice, an 18-year-old female, and Eric, a 17-year-old male. We are fairly relaxed parents. Our kids are allowed to drink, go out, and try new things as long as we know and it's safely done, preferably in our house. It's legally allowed in our country. Well, recently, Eric went to a party and happened to get into a fight. It was one of his friend's houses, which means he caused quite a bit of damage. After we seek medical attention for him, I received a call from the parents of the boy who threw the party. He insisted that Eric did quite a bit of damage and that I should be liable for the compensation, or at least part of it. Well, the issue is that Alice recently got into a college of her choice, and I had been saving up to pay for her tuition. If I paid for the damages that Eric caused, it would cause serious delay to my ability to pay for Alice's education and would force her into financial aid. I explained to both my wife and Eric that I would not tamper with Alice's education because Eric made a bad decision. Eric has savings that he worked for months on collecting, overtime, extra work, and all kinds of stuff like that, to save, and would cover all the expenses. He wanted to put it towards his startup or invest in the stock market. My wife thinks that it's cruel to make Eric utilize his savings when Alice can easily take financial aid. I think that it would be unfair to Alice to make her take out a loan when I promised her tuition. Eric and my wife are extremely upset at me. We have not told Alice anything, but I feel like I shouldn't budge on this one. The parent of the boy is an old-time friend of mine and assured me that lawyers will not be brought into this mess, but does expect to see the money. I want to clarify that Eric has been punished in ways that we see fit, and he's definitely remorseful. He is otherwise a good kid, and I'm sure has learned his lesson. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. I think it's very important that Alice not have to take out loans for because of a bad decision her brother made.
Yep.
This is not anything Alice did, and it's important that the brother be financially responsible for himself. That's the only thing that's going to teach him responsibility. If he gets off the hook now, then there's nothing to stop him from destroying people's houses again.
Yeah, I'm wondering what's going on with this relationship in the respect that why is Alice getting money? Why is Eric not getting money for college? Is this something that he saved up over a short period of time? Is this something like Alice is from a different parent and they had an affair or something? I don't know. There's a lot of things that make me wonder what's going on here about why Alice has money for college and Eric doesn't. Is it that the money went to his startup or something like that too, right?
Right. Or that it's just untouchable because he's the golden child and no one would ever think of touching his educational fund.
So I have a lot of issues with the money aspect of this, and unfortunately OP, and no one thought to ask this, unfortunately, for OP, but it's a little unfortunate that we don't have those answers, because I feel like those could provide a lot of information into the situation. But as it stands, it could just be that Eric does have a college fund and they aren't touching it because why would you touch the Eric's college fund, right? I think that Eric, if he doesn't pay this money back for the damages that he's caused, then it's going to open the door for him being entitled.
And well, he already is entitled. He feels like he shouldn't have to pay this, and he would rather see his sister suffer so that he can have his startup.
Yeah. And I mean, certainly, I get being disappointed, but I mean, if he's worked for a year and has managed to save up enough, then I mean, that would be, something, once he gets into the workforce, he'll have a lot more potential to save up even more money. And so maybe he has to live at home for a little bit longer and save more money aside or something like that, right? But I don't think that OP's wrong for defending their daughter as long as the finances and everything are equitable. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Darndest says Eric needs a pay. Mess around and find out. Why should Alice have to pay for Eric's mess up? And TinyD71 says, it sounds like you acknowledge that your son caused the damage and that the homeowners should be reimbursed for it. It's unclear why your wife would prioritize your son's plans to spend his savings on a startup or the stock market over your daughter's actual plans to go to college. Your son has the funds to pay for the damage that he caused. It certainly isn't his sister's fault or responsibility. Not the jerk for honoring the commitment to pay for your daughter's education. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Today I messed up by using a leaf blower on my kids. I have twin 3-year-old boys, and they're very active and silly. Well, the other day, I was doing some yard work, and I was using my leaf blower to clear away some grass and dirt. Naturally, they're infatuated, so I used the leaf blower on them, and they love it. I started chasing them around the neighborhood with the leaf blower and pretended that they were leaves. Good old wholesome father and son fun, right? Well, naturally, now they want me to use a leaf blower on them all the time. It's no big deal, it's a fun game, and I like playing with my electric leaf blower. Only now it's everywhere, including places where I don't have my leaf blower. So instead I have to pretend to blow them away like I'm blowing out a candle, which is still fine. All day for the last 3 days it's been, Dad, can you blow me away? Very cute stuff. Well, this morning we were at Target and the kids were getting a tad squirmy. They wanted to go to the park and I said that we can go after we finish up here. They're dancing around the aisles being toddlers. Then my son comes up to me in the main aisle and in the loudest voice shouts, Dada, can you blow me? Cue 5 people turning around to look at me and my kid. You would think by now that I would be immune to toddler-based embarrassment, but nah. So me, in my quietest voice, face feeling redder than a Macintosh apple, respond, buddy, inside voice, do you mean you want me to blow you away? Son 1, yes, blow me, excited toddler jumping. Son 2, yeah, blow me too, Dada. Well, my boys inside voices, please. You mean blow away, right? How do you ask for that? Sons, please may you blow us away. So I blew them away, and they go dancing off like leaves. The others who are watching snicker and giggle. One of the other guys nearby gives me a knowing smirk that clearly states, been there. Proceeds to finish the quickest Target run of my life. All right, folks, what do you think?
I mean, it's just kind of a silly story, and I'm glad that everyone understood what was going on, and hopefully OP will look back on this and laugh.
Oh, I'm sure they will. I mean, this is kind of one of those situations where it's embarrassing in the moment, but I mean, it's good that he was able to get the kids to clarify what was going on here, right? And clearly, like, kids say things because they don't always have a grasp of language, and they don't even have a grasp of what that means, which is really good that they don't have a grasp of what that means, right? And, it's just a silly little fun game, and I certainly understand people's momentary concern, right? But seeing everything play out, I'm sure that everyone's, were relieved about what was going on here, right? So I'm glad that it worked out nicely. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Challenging CD says, I sympathize, OP. When my son was a toddler and only knew a few words, he loved going down the street with all the different flags and the big clock on the outside of this hotel. We had to run the stroller down there to get to the story time at the library. He would get all excited and yell flags and big clock as we passed them. The problem is that he could not and did not pronounce the L's at all. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, that's terrible. The slow dawning of what that meant. And Boobas and Giggles 69 says, you nod in agreement and enunciate, yes, flags, yes, big clock. And Rainbow Pittermiss says, a lifetime ago I was shopping with my 3 or 4-year-old niece and her favorite toy was a small plastic figure Puss in Boots from the Shrek franchise. The day that she dropped it, she started wailing, "My puss, my pussy," at the top of her lungs. No word of a lie, a nun is watching as I scamper to quickly retrieve it and say loudly, and I present it back to her with the emphasis on "in boots." Mortified, I wanted to blend into the milk display. And Silami says, "Not that I've met many, but every nun that I've met would have considered that the highlight of her week and been retelling that story for years." All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
Why did the houseplant weave a web?
Well, the houseplant left a web because clearly it was a spider and not a houseplant. Or maybe it was a spider plant. But the fact of the matter is that we all know that the only web that plants leave behind is their web of lies. Their web of lies and deceit. You have no idea what plants are doing behind your back, folks. You think they need water, you think they need sunlight, but they don't. They feast upon the ephemeral. And you're part of the ephemeral. So they're slowly digesting pieces of you. As you breathe out, pieces of you are being absorbed into that plant, and it's eating you, slowly eating you from the inside out. That's the web of lies that the plant is telling.
It's a very weird way to think about carbon dioxide.
It's not carbon dioxide, it's the ephemeral.
Anyway, you did get the punchline. It was because it was a spider plant, and it's take your houseplant for a walk day.
Don't, because they'll try eating your breath. It's not good, folks. It's a bad sign. Bad sign of a lot of bad things. And I have Earl Grey. Take a walk with your plant. Give it some cement shoes and drop it into the river.
It's not nice.
All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy special Sunday, folks. And you know what makes it special? You do. Amber does too. And your house plants as well. Make it very special.
And Brian makes it special too.
Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. And please have it on parenting mishaps.
Sometimes it's important to be able to look back and laugh at when things go a little sideways.
Yeah. But thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.